Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to the Lion's Den in an undisclosed location in Prince George, British Columbia. As you can see here, these little bastards here, these Africa Corps here have shown up in the game now. So I think the British are probably not long for Africa here anymore. With the Italians and the Germans down there, it's only a matter of time. The British could put up a good fight because they did manage to take back South Africa, but there's all these militias popping up everywhere, and with the Africa Corps down there now, I think that they're going to be able to take over eventually. As you can see, all these German pies on here. The Russians attacked Tunis over here, so that means that all the Vichy turned over to Germany, which also gives them a shipyard in the Mediterranean there. So that's not good for anybody. What else we got here? The Germans also working on a minor factory down in South America there. So that's he's got designs on South America. Now, what else we got going on here? Oh, Turkey. The last vestiges of Turkey fell to the Russians there. So that's they're gone now. And the Eastern Front, not really a push by either one of them. They're both just hanging on to their borders there. We'll see if that changes at all. Over here, what happened over here? The Japanese did have this space here, but the British took it back. They haven't moved any further into here. It's going to be tough for them to move further now because of the fight going on in the Pacific there. As you can see, that's the main part of the Japanese fleet now. It's not that large. And then there's just a few destroyers around. And then the American fleet, you can see up at the top there and over here. So the Americans have got the advantage over there, but Japan has got all these territories here. It would take the Americans a long time to root that out. Let's just move to the other side of the board. You can take your turn, Panzer King.
I will.
Start cheating. So over here, not sure if the Japanese are going to put too much stock into fighting with the Russians with all that's going on everywhere else, but we'll see. But then again, the Russians could decide to move down into China as well, right?
Advanced mechanized.
The Middle East is all Russian as well. One thing that does do when he attacked the Vichy there and he didn't get into the French, then that means that the Allies can declare war on Russia if they want. Actually, I'm not sure if that's a version 2 rule or if that's just version 3, but I know that's a rule in version 3.
And let's roll.
So, what else we got? Up here, that's all Russian as well. In here, you can see he's got all these fortifications in here. He built fortifications all around in Western Germany there. So that's going to be tough if the Allies ever decide to make a landing over there. And you can see the UK is pretty much well defended. That's where the French capital is as well, and they get $3 a turn, so they just keep dropping a guy down on there. That's going to help. The Japanese had actually made it up to here. I don't have my lens, so I have to get really close to everything. The Japanese actually made it to here, so the Americans came up and took them out. Yeah, they made it quite far in there. The Americans have long-range heavy bombers, so that's the first one they built, and that's going to be flying over to Germany, probably, I would guess. I'll just slowly go around, show you what's going on around here. Nothing's happened with Spain. Anyway, we'll be back. It's first part of 1943. Okay, so we were at, I guess we're midway through 43 now? Yeah. And the threat of the Germans in South America was taken out, but at the cost of a fighter here. The British lost a fighter instead of losing their infantry so that they could take that out. But they kind of had to because the Germans had completed a factory down here, and then they were going to put a guy there plus a militia, and it would have taken the Americans 2 turns to reach down there. So they took that out, and the Americans took out the guy in Puerto Rico there. So there's no more, the Monroe Doctrine is in place now because there's no more foreign troops in North or South America anymore. There was, and the Americans also took out, oh damn, quick grab something. The Americans also took out that island up there.
Shoot, I don't have anything.
Hang on a second, I gotta clean up. Okay, so new rule. We're putting full glasses anywhere near General Hand Grenade. Spilling them on the table like that. So where were we? Oh yeah, then the Americans took out that guy. So now there's no foreign troops on North or South America or in the Central American islands there. So Japan, what did Japan do? They just bought 1 million destroyers? And they lost a few, like there was a destroyer up there. Japan managed to take this one out. They didn't have a really big turn this turn. It was more retooling on this turn. The Americans had lend-lease a sub over here to Anzac. Last turn was the only turn since the Americans could start lend-leasing that they didn't give anything to Anzac, and so that sure worked out really well because I think we were talking about it there. I think they managed to take out 3 Japanese capital ships in this game of the Anzac, just with all that lend-lease plus their own money. In here, they're still just staring at each other. Nobody really wants to take a swipe at the other guy. You can see over here the Africa Corps has moved closer. That's probably going to happen this turn, I'm guessing. That battle over Cairo there. We'll see though. The British have all but wiped out the guys down here. What's this guy? This is over here. This is right here. There we go. Yeah, the Germans might put another guy there, but all their guys have been taken out down here. But it's up there that the real fight is over for now. So we'll see what happens there. The Americans did manage to come over here. We're playing with the American minorities of war, so there's the Nisei guy. So they carpet bombed with their heavy strategic bomber there and brought those guys in, and so they've taken back northern Algeria for the French. The Italians, just tons and tons of militia in this game. You see they got regular militia down here, and they got the black shirts up there. Let's move up to the other side of the table. See if I can spill something over here. Oh no, here comes Godzilla. See Panzer King over there, he's taking his turn. Yeah, he's going after Cairo there. You big meanie.
It's true.
Nothing's happening on the Eastern Front there. I'm pretty sure those guys got a pact going. I won't attack you if you don't attack me. Let's just attack that hand grenade idiot. Pretty sure that's how it works. So that's basically all that's happening, unless anybody else has got anything. The Japanese guy got wiped out up here. What do you think, Dan?
I think that's a lot of destroyers we have to kill at some point.
This is Dan's first game that he's actually rolling dice and everything. Are you liking it, Dan?
I think it depends if I win or not.
Yeah. Have you thought out a cool name yet?
I have not.
Like Captain Underpants or something?
No, I think that's taken.
And Carl's playing today too. He is playing the Japanese today. What you gonna do, huh? What you gonna do? You gonna attack the Eastern Front yet?
No, lots of pondering thoughts.
Uncle Joe's not here.
I know.
We can pretend that he only rolls 17s. Anyway, we'll be back. So we're finally going to get some action on the Eastern Front. Where are we going? We're going to January of 44. As soon as the American's done his turn, he's about to slap the Japanese around over there. But I just thought I'd show you where he's going here. Finally, there hasn't been any action over here. So you can see where the red markers are. He's coming in. He's going up there. He's come here. He's going there, and also down in Turkey. He's going to go across to Turkey there. So lots going on over there at the Eastern Front. Don't let me stop you. And not much happening over here on this side because they're just starting to build up some transports now. They didn't have much transport capacity. They were kind of duking it out for Africa. So with the Suez Canal gone, then they can put some more units and spend some more money up there in the home country. There was some Japanese down here. They came down and took the Japanese out. The British did. What did the Germans do? So the Germans took the Suez Canal. I don't know if that was before or after the last video.
That was a lot, yeah.
So they've taken that out. It was actually quite easy too. The British snuck in there and took out Atlantis, so they're the proud owners of the Barbie doll house now. What else are we doing here? Oh, there was a big attack over here. I caught the Japanese and the Germans sleeping here and attacked this, and then I was able to blitz a tank through and take out the factory that the Japanese had back there. But I'm sure the Japanese are going to strike back with furious anger. Carl's over there just seething. And subs, doing the sub spam. So they've already taken out a cruiser. They can only do so much, but they're doing what they can. Are you still ready over there, Dan?
I'm just about ready.
Dan's trying to take back Midway. He's got some destroyers over here to take back. And all those planes are in there, right? On the
Yeah,
destroyers.
they're gonna fly down and sink some ships.
We'll do her. And that's until you know what? I'm gonna pause it here. We'll come back when we start rolling for that Eastern Front there, because that's something that is going to be a big. How that ends in this is going to be a pivotal turn to see what happens there between the Russians and the Germans, and see who gets the upper hand on the Eastern Front.
Okay, so
We're in 1944 now,
so
and we're about to get into the Eastern Front,
attacking Iraq.
attacking Iraq.
I have my dice. Here's your dice. You want to roll? Let's roll. Oh, fuck.
On the board, James.
Look at it bounce.
Nah, I'll grab another y'all. You look better. You look gonna happen. Okay, so we have one hit for sure. We have another hit, and I think it's just 2 in that round. Looks like it, right? Because it's 5. 1, 2, yep. Okay, so 2 hits, and you roll 3 blue.
Three hits.
I think you got 0 hits.
Yep.
You're 5 or
No,
less.
fuck.
Okay.
That's not good.
So you just roll 1 dice now. And I got a hit.
That's it.
Okay, so Iraq is done. That officially becomes German, and that's worth $2. Germans go down
Did
to.
you get Transjordan?
Yeah, I got that too. Okay, let's start with the next attack. We got Latvia up here. We got 1 guards tank and 3 infantry and a jet fighter.
I think you're on the other side of it. It doesn't matter. You can. It's just one thing you got. You're at 4. You're rolling at 4 because you got a light tank, but it's a guard.
Tank,
Anyway, I got a hit.
you got nothing.
Yep. So Latvia is down. The guards unit is off. Fighter still has to fly back, but we'll worry about that later. We'll just make that German. Now everything here you see in this little corridor is all attacking into this zone right here. So you have 2 heavy tanks, Sean, and 2 fighters, from what I can tell from that area, and I got the rest of it. So I have
2 heavy tanks, 2 fighters.
yeah, and I got a fighter, a medium armor, an SS cavalry. Fighter, medium armor. What else do we have? We have mechanized infantry, heavy armor.
Is this one with a chip? Is that a guard or something? Or a ripe?
Mechanized. And infantry and heavy armor.
You have an elite cavalry.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
What's
SS
this one
cavalry.
here?
That's just a standard heavy tank. Just ship number.
And you got three dudes in there too.
Did
There's two there and one there.
No, that's a different battle. That one's a different one there. Yeah, sorry. That's where it's
Oh,
tough
over
because
here.
this corridor is connected. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two infantry are going against this single infantry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one though because it's so tight. Okay, so miss, hit, hit. We got 3 hits.
I got 3 hits.
4 hits. We got 4 hits.
I got 3 as well.
Okay, so did you get any fighter hits?
I got 2 hits with the fighter, yep. And then 1 with the heavy armor.
And I get 1 hit with a fighter too.
So definitely you guys have to lose a fighter each.
Okay.
Okay. So you got to lose 2 more.
Put him here. Okay.
And how many hits did you get on him?
So I lost the fighter. 1 second here. I got 5 hits. But I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lose 2 more.
Yep.
So that's 3 in total.
3 total.
Okay, so I'll lose the infantry. Or is that SS infantry? No, it's not. And I'm going to lose the... Yeah, so what I'm going to be left with is the medium armor, the...
That territory's not worth anything.
Yeah, no, it's not worth anything.
Okay.
And the cavalry. Did you take any casualties off, Brian?
Ryan's gonna take them off, yeah.
I took them all.
You took them all off?
Oh, I didn't take yours off.
Not
no.
for me, that's what I figured. Okay. Yep. So that's 1. So now we'll do 2 infantry against a guard unit. And that's just regular infantry. So we're attacking at 2.
Hang on. We just see something here. Yeah, no rivers or nothing.
So I'm actually defending at 5.
Yeah, you got your guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit.
Miss. So what I'll do is I'm going to retreat.
Okay, I got him.
Battle.
Yeah.
He'll retreat. Yeah, he'll go there. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll stay Russia. Next attack is
Here?
this. The airborne against that 1 infantry, and I believe that's motorized because the rest of it's all in the city of Smolensk, I think.
So just an infantry and a motorized for him?
Airborne and heavy tank against infantry and motorized. Yes.
Okay.
Now, is there a thing where they defend higher if you're together?
No, you're just at 4. Both of them at 4.
Yep.
One hit.
Nothing.
Okay.
So probably the infantry, right? Yeah.
Another hit.
Nothing.
Is that territory with anything? Get $1, I guess. Yes. Okay, and that's the.
I'll get the $1.
Okay, you can do that. And then we have the final battle. Well, besides Istanbul, we have one more battle. We have 2 infantry, a SS Mountain. So we have a mountain.
Against light armor and infantry?
You didn't count this Latvia one, right?
No, because it wasn't worth anything.
Okay, so just take that off. This one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sorry, there's 3 infantry there, and
This one you
1
didn't take.
medium armor.
You have medium armor?
1 medium armor. Yeah.
And then 1 light, 1 infantry?
So I should have 5 units against what you have 2.
2, yeah. You got a light armor and a.
Infantry.
So yeah. 1
Yeah.
at 4, 1 at 3.
1 hit. 1 hit.
I got them both.
Both?
Hits. Yep. So 2 infantry off for me. And Sean gets off.
Do you want the infantry or the light armor off? The infantry's a heavier hitter now.
Yep, I'll take light armor.
Okay. Let's take that thing off. We know where we're going here.
Misses. Nope, sorry, I got a hit. I got a hit on the infantry.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I'm going to take the infantry off, and we'll take the territory.
And what did you have in there? Just
So all infantry off, and that one SS Mountain Division takes it. Is it worth anything? I don't think it is.
doesn't look like it.
No.
Nope.
Okay, and where's the medium armor? That should still be in there. Can you take it off? Because there was 5 units, 3 infantry, 1 SS Mountain, and a medium armor.
I don't remember taking it off.
Okay, and
I
then-
probably thought I was taking his light tank off. That's what it was. Istanbul.
So he has 2 medium armor against my 2 cavalry, 2 mechanized, and a jet fighter.
That's not 2 cavalry. That's just 1 cavalry on a chip.
There's another one next to it.
There's one right on the other side.
Oh, okay.
But they're all attacking to a mountain, right?
Yeah,
City.
it's a mountain and
Well,
a
it doesn't
city.
matter. So it's the only one modifier, right?
Yeah, and plus he doesn't have any infantry class units.
2-5.
So I'm attacking the 2 cavalry down 1, correct?
Yep. 2 mechs down 1.
2 mechanized down 1, so we're down there.
And the jet fighter is normal.
Jet fighter, there's no modifier. Okay. Jet fighter as a hit, and I think. Wait, sorry. I think yeah, no, that's it. Yeah,
I got 1.
1 hit. 1 hit for 1 hit. I'll take one of the cavalry.
Okay, and that's the tank, okay?
And 2 hits.
So that's the other
Okay,
tank.
and I'll take another cavalry.
Another cavalry. So that's a difference of 2. So you gotta fly that guy back somewhere. This this should be gone because it should have been gone last time.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a German factory here.
Okay. Grab that. And that is it for Germany. They just have to finish their turn.
54, 66. So that's a big fight on the Eastern Front. Here's a little whack of casualties. We'll come back later. All right then. So it's been a pretty long day, not overly long. We're going to come back tomorrow. We are going into July of 1944. So we have 3 turns left. The Americans have started making their way across the Atlantic. They've decided to come up here because that's 1 turn to there and then 2 turns over to Europe, right? It's a shame that you can't use other people's naval bases. That makes it much more difficult to get some kind of shot going, right? Because there's not really much over here that the Americans can take as their own to have their own naval base. So it makes it really difficult. There's 1 jet fighter down on the board. That's and Britain kind of just piling up like I was showing you last time. So over here, Uncle Joe fought back, and he did pretty well in his counterattacks. So it's not as built up over here anymore, but they're all still basically along the border, just like you would figure that they would be. He still has a shit ton of planes there for sure. Did he lose any planes?
I think he's lost 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
And did you lose any?
1 jet fighter.
Oh yeah, okay. So anyway, it's thinned out over here, but not really any movement along the border. But again, like if you can ignore just the planes, there's really not a lot of ground troops around. So if one guy could break through, then like there's nothing in behind in the immediate vicinity, so they can actually make it a ways if they do break through. But also, you see that Germany has broken through down here. Instead of going down into Africa, where there's not much for him to get down there, he's much better off coming up here. after Russia, right? Like he can take out all of the Middle East in here. I think you get some bonuses, don't you?
Yep, you get
In
bonuses for Iraq. You get bonuses for Iran. I think it's Southern Iran, Iraq, Southern Iran, and Transcaucasia.
Yeah, so he like these are they look like Italians, but these are the gift that I got. Or actually, it was a prize that I got from Sireblood.
Yeah.
His Africa course. So those are actually German tanks. They're not Italians. So they're breaking through over there and probably making their way up into Russia. Now these guys over here, if we can just get Carl to grow himself a pair, he's going to spill across the border, but not yet. You see the fight that's breaking out over here. The battle lines are being drawn. He's got about 172 destroyers, somewhere around there, give or take 150. A lot of destroyers or a lot of planes over on the Japanese side. And plus he hasn't used any of his kamikazes. So if the Americans do decide to be the one to take the shot at them, then he's got 6 kamikazes as well. And they're pretty powerful in this game. It's a 50% chance of hitting in this game. Not like in Axis and Allies where it's a 33% chance. Now the Americans, you see the task force marker down here, they're actually sitting right here. This is where the Americans are sitting in Midway. We'll put this back on here, the sub base. There we go. There's no dudes here?
Nope. Well,
Nope.
they're here. There's no subs.
No, but there's no infantry here?
There's no reason to have them there. No.
Oh, okay. No, just wondering.
Yeah.
You don't have to have them there. Just wondering.
They're
Plus, there's some dudes that are
they're
some boats
strategically deploying
in the Marshall
behind.
Islands as well. There's a couple of Anzac subs. The Anzac and American subs, they've been convoying on this line down here. The Americans have done better at taking money off. Anzac 2 subs they only took $1 off. So what can you do? Here, let me get around that side. So down here, the FEC are making a push through here. So they've made it down to Malay now. Now they can start working their way this way. They're wishing they had some boats though, some transports, because all of this money down here, and those are worth points at the end of the game as well. A bunch of these are worth points for the Japanese. I think the Americans are probably going to have to do something down there because the British don't have much money to be building boats, so it's probably not something that they're going to be able to do. Down here, the British have pretty much sewn up South Africa. Like the Russian or the Germans could make a push down here, but it's more in their interest to go north, as I showed you, to Russia up there. Like they could come down here if they want, but at this stage of the game, you know, there's not much money to take down here. Like there's $1, $3, $4 down here that he could go after. That's it, right? Whereas Transcaucasia alone is worth 5 plus a bonus. So, you know, much more advantageous for him to go north than south. The Russian Navy, there's a bunch of them in the Mediterranean, but they haven't done anything the entire game other than take out Portugal. So we'll see if he finds a use for those before the end of the game. He's not here right now, but he'll be back tomorrow morning for sure. So, that's what I got. What about you, Dan? First time rolling dice? Here you go.
Yeah, it looks like we're having a big showdown here.
Don't forget the camera.
I feel like this big Japanese fleet full of lots of small ships is somehow gonna face off against my Americans. And I guess we'll have to just see who moves first. Because I don't really want to go in there and fight kamikazes and his planes.
Chicken.
But we'll see what happens.
Who else is gonna go here? Oh! At the Lion's Den. The Lion's Dad's gonna take over.
So Panzer King here. So just looking at
Are
Germany
you putting
overall.
these on, or?
Yeah, these planes here too. Yeah, they gotta fly back
I
to
kinda
wherever they're gonna
fucked
go.
up.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, I'm a little bit bummed with the losses here in the New World with Puerto Rico and that, but it was just a matter of time. But I was hoping to keep them occupied for a few more turns, but it really doesn't make a difference now. The fact that Italy and Germany are gonna either hold the territories that they have, and the German African Corps is going to move eastward or perhaps southward, we don't know yet, to try to make a difference in that part, because as Brian was saying, it is worth quite a few bonuses in this area of the map. But at the same token, Sean has the largest air force I've ever seen in this game, as well as the largest tank force I've ever seen in this game, me personally. So he
You got
is
them
a
all at the
power
2 for
to
1
be to be reckoned with for sure. Germany's main goal is to just fortify the homeland and also see if they can make some home runs here and there. But they know they have the Canadians, the British, the Americans on the western front, the Russians here now. They might be able to break through Istanbul here and make a run for Transcaucasia, but we'll see what happens. All over though, I'm pretty happy. We're at, as you can see, July 1944, and the overall incomes for each nation. But right now, I guess we'll just wait and see, as the old saying goes, and go from there.
What do you think? You got any words of wisdom for us there, Mr. Japanese guy? He's shy, that's okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna upload this video tonight, and I'll be back at like 6 in the morning tomorrow in my dreams, and then I'll probably be here about 9 o'clock or so, and then we're gonna finish this game off. Hopefully, we'll see. It does take a long time to finish a game off, because it's counting up the points and arguing and fighting and you know, taking each other outside and rolling around in the Jello pool and everything with our Speedos on. We'll see what happens. We're going to try to finish tomorrow, though. If not, then we'll finish next weekend. So, from the Lions Den, it's me and you and you and you and Uncle Joe, who's not here right now, but we'll be back tomorrow. Take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.